Hi, everybody, and good morning. Welcome to our first live stream for our research methods class. My name is Elisa Setmire, and I'm your instructor for this semester. I see a lot of you getting logged in and joining me, putting your names in the chat. That's fantastic. Welcome to Twitch. If you've never used it before, can somebody somebody let me know if you can hear me and see me all right before we get going? All good. Thank you. Thank you again, Tropical Geek. Okay. All right. And I know, this class is a fully online class, and so I know some of you are probably watching this maybe later as a recording, but thank you for those of you who are here with me live. Thank you, Mackenzie, for letting me know. Your way of communicating with me during this stream is to type into the chat, and I'm monitoring that on my phone and then also my computer. So if you have any questions or thoughts or comments or anything, that is your best way to go ahead and interact with me. And yes, don't forget to write your first and last name in the chat at some point as you join me here, so that I can mark down that you are with me. But good morning and welcome to one of the strangest beginnings of a semester that we've had in a while. Our class was fully online from the beginning, so I guess nothing really changed for us, but it's definitely a very strange beginning to the semester. So I hope all of you are doing okay and hanging in there. What we'll do today is I want to go over a little bit our Canvas page, kind of the organization of the class, the things that you should be doing. And we are halfway through week number 1 already, so I want to go through a little bit of that as well. And this is a wonderful opportunity for you if you have, as I said, if you have any questions, to put them in the chat and I can answer them and kind of direct you and help you out with that. So again, this is for my research methods class. I do have 7 different classes, so just make sure that you are always in the right one, and hopefully you are, and we are all good to go. So let's head over to Canvas together. And if you were able to make it to this Canvas page, then you should be in wonderful shape. And I've been teaching this class online now for almost 2 years. Very excited. I was the first one to teach research methods online, and I'm really grateful. I think it's a wonderful class to teach in this way. And so I'm glad that you're all here with me for it. But the course is organized. This is the homepage here. And what you'll see is there's a little bit of a description at the top, right? Welcome to Research Methods. And then underneath that, you'll see all the different modules for the semester. And you'll learn this about me. I'm an exceedingly organized person, and maybe to a fault. And so hopefully maybe, everything is very clear for you. But everything is organized this way. Here's the Start Here button with the mandatory orientation materials that you need to do this week. There's some information about how to get a hold of me, help and campus resources, course documents and videos. And then you'll see all of the rest of the weeks underneath that. And everything is organized by week. So as the different weeks come up, like for example, right now we're in week number 1, everything that you need to do for that week is organized under that week to help try and keep it very clear and easy to navigate. So let's go ahead and take a look at the syllabus together. And I'm not going to go through everything in detail, so make sure that you're reading through all of this later on your own. But let's go through the syllabus just a little bit so that you know what to expect and what you'll be graded on and all of that kind of stuff. Good. I'm glad that you appreciate my organization. I am a little bit overly organized, but in years like this and times like this, I think that's important. So thank you. I will take that. All right. So here's our syllabus, and I have right here at the top. My name is Elisa Setmire, and you don't have to worry about pronouncing that since we're not meeting in person. But most people call me Elisa or just Setmire. You can call me Professor Setmire. Any of those things are fine. Email is always going to be the best way to get a hold of me. I do have an office at the campus and a phone number. I'm a full-time tenured professor at Moorpark College, but I'm not at the campus right now. I'm actually teaching from home because of our COVID numbers. So it's always better to email me. I check that constantly versus the phone in my office. Not so much right now. There's a description here. I'm going to let you read over all of that on your own. It's just some of the objectives and outcomes and things that we will be covering over the course of the semester. Where I want to pick up right here is where it says text and required materials. You are going to need to get a copy of the textbook for this class. You're welcome to get an ebook, you can get a used copy, you can get a new copy, you can rent it, you can buy it. It's totally up to you, whatever works with your budget and whatever is the most friendly version for you. But you'll notice I kept to the older edition of the book. There is a newer one, which is more expensive, but trying to be helpful and conscientious of all of your budgets as well. I kept to the older one for one more semester. Has anyone purchased or rented the book? If you don't mind sharing where you got it or how much you paid for it in the chat, that would be amazing. In the spirit of this class, make sure that you do some research before you go ahead and purchase it. I imagine there are quite a few different ranges and modalities that you can buy the book. But if anyone doesn't mind sharing, did you rent it? Did you buy it? How much did you pay? That would be probably helpful information for everybody to know. $20. That's nothing, right? That's amazing. $20 on Chegg. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you, thank you. Anybody else? Rented it on Amazon for 15. Again, I stuck with the old edition. So I'm glad it was super affordable for all of you. That's phenomenal. Most textbooks are like in the high 200s. So be very grateful for the 15, $20. Purchased it for 25. Okay, Amazon. Oh, it was a hassle. Oh no. Wow, 140. Okay, so again, make sure that you're kind of looking around. If you can return it, I would. Maybe it sounds like you could maybe get it for cheaper other places. But do some research, look around before you commit. But please try and get a copy of the book. You are going to be reading it every week, especially since this is an online class. You really should be doing that reading on your own. It's going to be very important for supplementing and giving you all of the information on a weekly basis. So please try and get a copy of the book. You obviously also need internet and a computer with internet capacity. Might not be a bad idea to download the Canvas app or the Twitch app on your phone or tablet, computer, whatever you're using. I have some computer and system requirements. It's more just if you're running into issues, any like relatively new computer should be just fine. Just make sure you have good internet connection, as obviously our class is 100% online. No, you do not need an access code. So just access to the book. We're not using any of the online resources. Everything that you need other than the text itself, I will provide for you on our Canvas site. So if that makes it cheaper, you don't need the access code. Okay? Thank you for all the questions and participation. Thank you. I appreciate it. Sorry, I'm fighting. I hope it's just a cold. There's so much COVID going around. I mean, I don't know, but I'm fighting a cold. I've also been talking a ton this week, so forgive me for sounding a little bit gravelly this morning. But we'll get through it together, right? And that'll be our motto for the year. We'll get through it together. I have some class policies and codes of conduct on here. I know we're meeting online, but I still hope that we have a really wonderful class together. I hope we have a very inclusive, safe learning environment. I want everyone to feel welcome and comfortable. So please try and always be mindful and courteous of each other, respectful of each other in our interactions online. I'm pretty strict about late work. Our class is designed to give you a lot of flexibility. So the way that our course works is every Monday morning at 12:01 a.m., a new week of materials will open up. So we go week by week by week through the semester, and you have from Monday morning at 12:01 a.m. to Sunday night at 11:59 p.m. to complete those materials. So as long as you're budgeting and planning your time out well, there really shouldn't be any reason that you're late. You have the entire week to work on the materials at any point that you want to do them. I'm very, very strict. Once the deadline has passed, you can no longer turn in materials. So Sunday night at 11:59 p.m., the second it hits Monday morning, it is too late, right? And I have to be consistent and fair with this. My one thing that I will tell you is I know that the world is really unpredictable right now. I know that everyone is struggling and there's a lot of sickness and unpredictability. So if something comes up, if you're sick, if you have an issue, I'm really flexible as long as you reach out to me before the deadline. So if you email me Friday or Saturday or Sunday before that 11:59 p.m. deadline, I'm struggling, I'm not feeling well, something happened, I'm willing to work with you and give you an extra day if you need it. But if you contact me Monday morning, it will be too late. So that's kind of my one hard rule, if you will. So please just be mindful of that as we move through the semester. Please don't copy or cheat. Give me all your own wonderful, beautiful work. There's some other campus policies which aren't as relevant right now. So orientation, there's a couple of things for your grade. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different components to your grade this semester. So let me just give you a quick overview of those. You do have a little mandatory orientation quiz to take this week. And so my goal with this is to make sure that you've logged in, you understand the course requirements. This is due by Sunday night, and I'll show it to you in a few minutes. If you don't take this, you could be at risk of being dropped from the class. So please make sure that you get going on this as soon as possible. Again, I will show that to you a little bit later, right? Perfect. Thank you. Like, I love it. You're helping each other. That makes me so happy. Thank you all for helping each other here in the chat. The discussions, you'll do a discussion every single week on the materials. Again, I'll show you these in a few minutes. But these are your way of kind of showing off your knowledge and understanding of the materials and showing me that you understand what you have read and can apply it. There will be 4 little homework assignments that you'll do throughout the semester. These are going to be things like reading an article or analyzing some research. They're going to be things that allow you to apply the knowledge that you've gained. We'll talk about each one of those as they come up, and there'll be handouts on them, and I'll show you how to do them, and we'll go over them each week that they come up. You'll have 3 little self-assessments, right? And this is something I added new this semester. It's something they're encouraging at the college level. So as we move through this semester, you'll have a couple of small assessments just to reflect on your effort and your progress and your grades in the class so far, how you are doing, what if you have any feedback. And again, I'll go over those as they come up. They're worth 5 points each. They're very short. You'll have your first one in a couple of weeks, and then after that, after the exams. You will do a project at the end of the semester, a proposal project. So rather than writing a full APA style paper, you will do an APA style write-up where you come up with a research proposal. You'll make a very brief little video where you present your idea to all of us in a discussion. You'll make a small little visual aid, and we'll scaffold up to this as we work through the semester. We'll kind of build up to it as we go. But if you could conduct research on anything, you would come up with a topic and then you will propose it to me in an APA style paper. And don't worry about that too much right now, but we'll obviously talk about that a lot as we move through the class. And then you'll take 4 online exams. They're worth 50 points each. They'll be completely online. They'll be on our Canvas page. You'll be able to use your notes and your book and everything on them. You'll have a study guide. We'll go over them in great detail before each one. And again, I'll cover those as we get a little bit closer. So those are your main graded components in the class, and they add up together to form your grade in terms of points. And I have that breakdown for you right here. If you have a memo with access, make sure that you get that to me as soon as possible so I can get you all set up. And these live streams, I will be doing them once a week. And, I might change the schedule depending on what happens with all of the classes right now are virtual for at least 3 weeks. Depending on what happens with that, I may change the schedule later. I know this works for some of you and not others, but just do your best to be here when you can. If you can't be here live, you can always watch them later, and there will be a recording posted every week once we're done, and that's completely fine if you can't make it live. If you do need an interpreter, we can work with Access to get you set up for that. There's some student support information. You can also see the college information down here in terms of like the student service syllabus, and then our weekly schedule. So each week we'll cover one chapter or part of a chapter in the book. There'll be a discussion and then sometimes a homework assignment or an exam depending on the week. And we'll go over that as we talk about each week as we move through the semester. So I know I didn't go over everything in there. I'm trying to save my voice just a little bit, but are there any questions at all about the syllabus, about anything that we talked about so far, here's more information about the textbook if you need it right here under the syllabus. There's a picture of it for you if that's helpful. This is what it looks like. It's that third edition, and it sounds like, again, a lot of you were able to find it very cheap, which makes me happy to hear. I know books are so expensive, and that's just part of the college process, right? But any questions or anything so far? If you think of anything at any point, feel free to put it in the chat. You're good. Thank you. I'm glad you're good. You're an expert by now, right? My unofficial moderator. I love it. Twitch extra credit option if we attend live. Do we need to take the quiz or do we automatically get the credit? So what will happen with these is at the end of our streams, which will be usually about 30 to 45 minutes, I will give you an extra credit question, and then you can answer that question. I'll show you where you can do that in a little bit. So if you're not able to make it live, you can reach out to me. We can talk about that via email or even an appointment. But what I'll do is I'll give you a question toward the end, and then you'll answer it each week under that extra credit assignment. So I'll show you that in a little bit. Hopefully that will help answer your question. You should be able to, especially this week with the lecture that I have for you, you should be able to kind of limp your way through it this week. And hopefully you'll have it for next week when we start to get into a little bit more involved material. As far as your question about the book not arriving yet. So once you've looked over the syllabus, notice there's a lot of other things on here. I've tried to give you a lot of help in case you need it. I sent out a welcome letter by email. I hope that you all got that and read it. If you didn't, I posted it here as well. There's some information about a discussion rubric and sample. I made a video overview. If you're still feeling a little confused, you could always watch that. The study guides, we'll talk about those later, but they are posted already for you. I'm going to come back to this in 1 second. This is probably the next thing for you to explore, but just a few other resources first. I compiled a list of frequently asked questions in case, you're still confused. I made a little student lounge. Yep, thank you for putting your name in there, Anya. Thank you for adding that. I put a little student lounge right here if you want to ask and answer questions with each other. This could be kind of a fun place for you to do that. It's a little bit more formal in that it's through Canvas, but you could still post questions and replies here on that little lounge. There's some information here about how to set your Canvas notifications. If you're not getting my announcements or my emails, make sure you follow these instructions, especially with all the unpredictability of this semester. Really important to make sure that you're getting the messages I send to you. There's some information about how to find your grades and feedback, some technology help, student services. And then I put this one here. This is kind of a big one. You'll notice we're using Twitch today. This class is 100% online, so we don't necessarily have to have a live meeting, but I think it's nice to interact with all of you in real time. So I wanted to hold one Twitch session a week. And it's really important that you find me on Twitch and on YouTube, because I use a lot of those in this class. So if you click on this subscribing to my Twitch and YouTube channels, let me spend a minute here and then hopefully we don't have to talk about this again. But Twitch is kind of a fun pop culture platform. It's obviously a little less academic than Zoom, but I think it's more accessible for a lot of people. Sadly, we won't be doing any video games on here, but that's okay. We'll still use it for kind of a live stream chat purpose. If you are able to, if you have Amazon Prime, or if you want to, I sent out a message. If you don't have Prime, there is a free student Prime version for 6 months. Please take a few minutes and follow these instructions that I posted for you. You can link your Amazon Prime and Twitch accounts. And what that allows you to do is subscribe for free for 30 days. And you can do this as many times as you want. So you just have to renew it over the course of the semester. But Twitch has a couple disadvantages in that it does have ads. And anyone in theory could join, though our streams are kind of very specific, so we typically don't get a lot of that. But one of the ways that you can get rid of the ads is by subscribing to my channel. The other really big reason that I'm pushing for this is when you subscribe, I can download a list of all of you who participated. So you don't need to worry about putting your first and last name in the chat. It saves me an incredible amount of time, and I really appreciate those of you who take that time to help me with that. So if you can, please follow these instructions, link your Twitch and Amazon accounts together, and then you can subscribe to my channel for a month. There's also a video right here that I found to be really helpful in showing you how to do this. But I appreciate those of you who did this and took that time. If you look at the chat, if you have the little crown and a football cake next to your name, then you're set. That means that you are subscribed. If you just have the little crown, then you have one more step to do. But just I'll put that reminder here in the chat. Don't forget to check that every week. I'll remind you every week. But I think it's a really nice way for you to minimize your ads and help me with not having to search for your name. So thank you again for those of you who are doing that. Once you've done all of those things, you've checked your notifications, you've subscribed and followed me on Twitch, you also have this mandatory orientation lecture to finish. And a lot of the orientation lecture is stuff that we're talking about here. It's a 5-page format. And you'll see this format over and over again. Your lectures are typically like a 3-page format. But what you'll see is there's an overview on the first page, the 5 things that you need to do to complete the orientation. You can read it, or if you miss the sound of my voice, you can listen to me reading it to you. I was healthy when I recorded it, so it's much clearer, hopefully. But make sure you read and listen to all these pages, read through the syllabus, take the mandatory orientation quiz, find me on YouTube and Twitch, and again, the directions for that are here. The second page tells you a little bit about the organization of the course, which we've talked a little bit about. Every week you'll read a chapter either in the book or maybe some assigned readings that I've given you. Sometimes I split the chapters up, so it might just be a half a chapter. You'll also read the lecture for the week, watch the lecture video for the week, and participate in a weekly discussion topic. In addition to that, there are 4 homework assignments, 4 online exams, 3 assessments, and an experiment proposal project that you'll do over the course of the semester. So we have kind of a typical weekly format, and then some weeks you'll have additional things like assignments, exams, or assessments, but we'll follow a very similar format every week, which hopefully makes it very predictable. I gave you some information about myself in case you would like to know a little bit more about the person teaching the class. As I said, my name is Elisa Setmire. Most people call me Elisa or just Setmire or Professor Setmire. I'm obsessed with football. I was in 4 fantasy football leagues this semester or this last season, and I came in second, 4th, and 8th. I don't want to talk about the 8th, but I'm a big football fan. I'm obsessed with Tom Brady. He's been my favorite player for years, so I'm a big Bucks fan now, though I was a Patriots fan for 20 years. I absolutely love escape rooms. I love the holidays, to camp and be outdoors. I've done 92 escape rooms, if that tells you how much I love them. Oh, Cooper Cup. I love my little Cooper Cup. Every time you're at the stadium, I went to one game live, and they say Cooper every time he catches the ball. But yes, I had him on 3 of my teams, and he carried me very far as well. Thank you, Cooper, Cooper Cup, and go Rams. Even though I'm a Brady fan, I will vote for the Rams as well. Yep, I went to the Bucks-Rams game, so maybe we were both there as well. That was a great game. Even though Gronk got hurt and the Bucks lost, I was still very excited to go to SoFi Stadium. That's funny. I was at the same game, and that was a lot of fun. It's a beautiful stadium, though not the best food, but that's okay. So a little bit more about me, if you want. I have 4 cats and a dog. I'm teaching from home, so none of my cats have crashed our stream today, though they did crash my streams yesterday. So you never know. We might have some cats and visitors in the streams every now and then. There's some information about computer and internet stuff. If you find that your settings aren't working or you're having a hard time, you might check out some of these things like disabling your pop-up blockers and so on. There's a help page on here. If you still need help, you can always email me. I'm here. I like to tell you I'm a real person. I'm teaching this class, but I am obviously here for you. And so if you ever have questions, please reach out. I'm happy to help you. There's a Canvas support number here. There's a distance education page for the college if you need help. Look at all of these people who were here. They were there at the game. How funny, right? Your one game, I've been to 4. And I remember each of them so vividly. Every time I see Brady and Gronk play, Gronk gets hurt. So I should never go to another game. But that's fun that you were there as well. Thank you for joining us. Make sure you put your first and last name in the chat at some point. And thank you for being here. Someone said they were just joining us now. So once you've read through this whole mandatory orientation lecture, you can then take the quiz, right? And so once you've read through the syllabus, the lecture, you're familiar with everything, you feel good about it, make sure then you then take that 10-point orientation quiz. I'm going to get to your question here in a minute. And so when you're ready for this, you have 15 minutes to take it. It's due before this Sunday at 11:59 p.m. And so when you're ready, just hit take quiz. And you'll notice there's a little clock right here that starts ticking down. You have 15 minutes to take it. You only get one attempt, so make sure that you're ready and organized to go. Thank you for letting everyone know. Tropical Geek, thank you so much. So when you go to take this quiz, you'll just answer the questions as we go along, right? So question 1, our course weeks begin on Monday at 12:01 a.m. and end Sunday at 11:59 p.m., right? So you'll select that answer. Which is the following is not true about your instructor? I went to Humboldt State. Those are my favorite shows. I love the holidays and food. I definitely don't hate football, as we've just established, right? And so what you'll do is you'll go through all of these, answer each one of them, and at the very bottom, when you're done, you'll hit submit quiz. And it'll say, have you saved everything? I didn't answer 8 of the questions, but I'm just showing you a couple as an example. And then it'll give you a score right away. Once you've taken the quiz and you've gotten a score, you've satisfied this requirement and you're all set to continue in the class. So just make sure you do this at some point this week before the end of the week in order to stay in the course and satisfy that requirement. Somebody asked, have I conducted research or is the topic you'd like to research? I definitely have. If you Google my name, my master's thesis was on women and self-efficacy, looking at how our beliefs about ourselves can influence our ability to be successful. So I have done some research, though not as much as I would like. We don't do quite as much research at the community college level as you would do if you were maybe more of like a university instructor. Perfect. Thank you. I love it. All of you helping each other in the chat makes me so happy. Thank you so much. Are there any other questions at all so far? I think that kind of gives you a good overview of the stuff to do before you start week 1. Get your copy of the book, complete the mandatory orientation lecture and quiz, read through the syllabus. Once you have done all of that, you can start on week number 1. Well, perfect. You're practically my moderator, and I will happily take the help since you are very familiar with our format. So thank you so much. All right. Let's see. I'm just waiting to see if there are any other questions, but it looks like everyone is doing okay. I can't see you, so it makes me sad that we're not meeting in person. But thank you for being on here with me live. And again, there's a lot of you in here. We're here for my research methods class, and I appreciate you joining me. So once you've done all of those prereqs, let's go ahead and start on week number 1, right? And so we're halfway through the week at this point, almost a little bit more than halfway. This week we're looking at chapter 1. And so what you should be doing each week is reading the chapter in the book. Then you're going to read through the lecture and then watch the lecture video, which is complete with some slides. So in the lecture video, I'm lecturing. You might want to take notes, pay attention. These are typically going to be like 20-30 minutes long, depending on the topic. The one this week was a little bit shorter. There's also a written lecture that I created for you. So a couple of different components, right? Make sure that you're doing all of them. Anything in here, click on it. Any videos I include, watch them. anything in here is fair game for the exam. So page 1 is always going to be objectives and summary. Here are the things that you need to know for this week. And I've given you some pictures. There's a recording of this if you would like to listen to it instead. The beyond the book page is going to be things that are beyond the book that I think were interesting or relevant. There's a couple of little videos in here that I hope you watch. Again, if they're in here, make sure to watch them. The key terms in review, these are all the terms that you need to know for the exam. I'm not sure why the image isn't showing up, but it's okay. It's just a study guide. Depending on the day, these images, sometimes they show up and sometimes they don't. But with these are all the terms from chapter 1 that will appear on exam number 1. So if you wanted to be studying and reviewing as we go along, these are the terms that you'll want to know from this chapter specifically that will show up on exam number 1. Thank you for those of you who are figuring out how to do the subscribing with Prime. Again, please don't ever pay for this. It should be free for you. But thank you for those of you who have figured that out. You're welcome to do that as we go. I appreciate you figuring that out for me. So make sure you read through all of these things. Click on any of the links that are here. Then you're also going to want to watch the video. And this is me lecturing with some slides that I've created. If there aren't any outside videos, I typically post them on YouTube. That way you can watch it from anywhere. It does have captions, which is a little bit handy as well. So make sure that you watch these, take notes. These will appear on the exam. So 3 things to do as far as covering the content: read the chapter, watch the lecture video, and then read through and click on any of the links in the lecture. Once you've done all of that, you can complete discussion number 1, and you'll do a discussion every single week. There are instructions for you up here at the top. What you'll want to do is watch the brief little introduction video that I made for you. My hair is much shorter in that picture, right? I'm growing it out. I didn't feel safe going to get cut for like a year, so I grew it out. But you'll watch the brief introduction video, and then you'll read through my questions and answer them. You're going to read through at least 5 of your classmates' responses and reply to one of them. And altogether, your discussion is worth up to 15 points. So 13 points for your responses to my questions, and then 2 points for your responses to a peer. So that will hopefully be this very similar format to follow every week. There's a rubric if you'd like to see some samples. There's a rubric up here that you can also access. But always watch these videos. I tried very hard every week to give you a little bit more information and an overview, some tips as you go through. So these short videos I think are very helpful. But here are the questions for this week. This week we're looking at psychology as a way of thinking. So you're going to answer these 3 questions. There's some headlines and websites for you to visit down here. And when you're ready to answer my questions, you'll hit reply. So when you click on that, it'll bring up a text box where you can type your responses. And again, this is your way of showing off your knowledge of the information, that you've read the chapters, that you understand what you've covered. Think about these as like mini papers. You want to make sure that you're elaborating. Always save your responses just in case anything goes wrong or it doesn't post. This is a good place for you to save them. And then you'll notice other people have already responded, right? So let's say DJ, right? Let's say I really like the way your headline that you found here, and I want to respond to it, like a couple of people have. You could hit reply. It's fantastic. A lot of you have already gotten going on this. Make sure that you're answering these really fully. I'm looking at these. Some of you have written more than others, but make sure that you're always elaborating, answering things completely. I'll give you feedback every week, but you always want to make sure that you're answering the questions in good detail. So that's the discussion. That's really your big component to work on for this week. So this week you have all of the mandatory orientation stuff, the kind of getting going on the class, reading through chapter 1, the lecture video, the discussion, and then there's one other thing which I'll talk about in a second. I've given you a wrap-up checklist for every week. I added this semester. I think it's a nice way of kind of making sure that you've done everything. These are all the things that are due this week, so you can kind of just mentally note that if you've done them all, then you're in good shape. So make sure that you go through that. I've also recorded it. Lots of opportunities for you to see and hear me if you miss my voice, my gravelly, sick voice, right? I don't normally sound so deep. I have a very deep voice right now. And then there's one thing every single week I will be doing these live streams, right? So unless something comes up, of course, I will do these live streams every week. You can earn 2 points for joining me. If you join me every single week during the semester, it's like 32 or 34 points worth of extra credit. And I would really recommend that you take advantage of this. That's going to just add to your grade. It takes off the pressure on exams. So what you need to do in order to get these 2 points of extra credit is you join me in the live stream and you put your name in the chat, unless you're subscribed, and then you don't need to do that. And several of you have figured that out, which is fantastic. You can also work on that when we're done with our stream today, but thank you for trying to figure that out. But I will give you the question every week. So let me put the question in the chat here for you. And I typed these up ahead of time so that I'm organized and ready to go. Okay, so your extra credit question for this week is describe 2 to 3 characteristics of good scientific theories. And I just posted that here in the chat. What are 2 to 3 characteristics of good scientific theories? This is something that you can find in the textbook and also in the lecture. So once you're ready to answer that, you'll go back to Canvas. And since we're in week 1, you'll click on optional Twitch extra credit number 1. It'll have the instructions for you right here, just in case you've forgotten. You need to put your name in the chat and then answer this question. You'll click on Start Assignment at the top, and you can type your response here in the box. So I can't spell. Type your response. And then at the bottom, you'll hit Submit, and it'll give you this little confetti burst, which is my favorite thing on Canvas. The little confetti burst, it's so rewarding, right? It's so little, but I love it anyway. And I grade these throughout the week. This is due by Sunday night, but if you submit it early and get it wrong, I'll give you feedback and you can always try again. But these extra credit opportunities are rewarding you for joining me every week. And it's those 2 points, they'll definitely add up. So I hope that you take advantage of them. Please, if you can, again, try to find me and subscribe on Twitch. You can use this as an opportunity to, again, ask me questions. We're almost done here with the things that I have to share with you. Let's see. Can you only answer the question if you join? Yeah, so Jenny, you're here with me live. So if you're here with me live, you can go ahead and then answer that question on Canvas. If you aren't able to join me live, you can reach out to me my email and we can talk about some other possible solutions as well. So I think those are all the big things that I wanted to go over with you. I have lots of resources on here if you're feeling confused. If you're feeling confused, you can always reach out to me. But get going on the materials for week number 1. Get going on the mandatory orientation lecture. I'm going to put this here in the chat. Our next Twitch live stream will be on Thursday next week. Thursday 1, what is next Thursday? 1:20. Thursday 1:20 at 10 o'clock a.m. And I may or may not change this, again, depending on what happens with the campus and us staying virtual or not. I might change this, but for now, for at least the first 3 weeks, this will be our timing. Yes, please put your name in the chat for attendance at some point. Unless you're subscribed, then you don't need to worry about it because I can download your name. But yes, please put your first and last name in the chat somewhere. Perfect. Thank you. And I know it's a little bit of a pain to connect your Twitch and Amazon accounts, excuse me. But once you have figured it out, it's actually really simple from there. And I can show you next week how you can go through and make sure that you've done that as well. But hopefully all of you have a chance to figure that out this week. If you have any other questions, I will hang out for the next like 10 minutes or so. I do have another class coming up at 11, but I will hang out for roughly 10 minutes. If you have any questions for me, you can put them in the chat. If you don't have any questions, and you're welcome to take off, this is kind of the end of our stream here. We will next week, we'll go over some feedback from this week and reminders for next week. It's probably going to be a little shorter. This week was covering a little bit more related to Canvas. But I hope all of you have a wonderful week. I hope that you're taking care of yourselves and staying healthy. I know I'm not healthy as I tell you that, but still, I hope that you are all taking care of yourselves and hanging in there. and that you have a wonderful start to the semester, even though it's a little bit, jumbled because everybody is dealing with so much illness and there's so much COVID going around. But take care of yourselves, hang in there. I will hang out for roughly, like I said, about 8 to 10 minutes or so. If you have any other questions, you can go ahead and put them in the chat. Great, thank you, thank you. I'm not feeling awful, but I definitely would love to feel better. So thank you so much for the well wishes. I hope all of you are healthy. I know I can't see you, but I hope you're healthy and hanging in there as well. If you have any other questions or thoughts for me, put them in the chat. When we're done today, one last thing, when we're done, I will post a recording of this right here under the extra credit assignment for week 1. It takes a couple of hours for me to download it and upload it, but I will post that for you later today. So if you missed this or if you're watching it later, you don't have to go searching for it on Twitch. Since I have so many different classes, I'll make sure you have the right one posted right here for you to make it easy. So have a wonderful week. Go Brady and the Bucks. Go Rams. Go lots of teams this weekend in the wild card playoff games. Take care of yourselves. I'm going to minimize my video, but if you do think of any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Thank you, Jacob. I appreciate the well wishes. Thank you, all of you, so much for joining me. I know it seems small, but I'm so excited that so many of you were here this morning. Thank you so much for your questions and participation. And I will look forward to seeing you all next week for our second live stream. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a wonderful week, and feel free to email me if you think of any questions later on as well. Thank you so much for the well wishes. Thank you. Definitely a lot of talking this week, so that makes it a little tough to not feel great, but that's okay. We're getting through it. We're almost there, and I'm sure I'm not the only one who's fighting something. I know a lot of people are fighting a cold or COVID or something right now. So thank you all. And again, if you don't have any questions, you're welcome to go ahead and log off as we're finishing up this research methods stream here. And then I will see you all next week for our week number 2 stream. The next one is at 11. One more to go, Tropico Geek, if you want to be my moderator for that one. I would love it. Thank you so much for all of your help with that. You have been fantastic. But yes, I have one more class at 11 for my intro psych class. So in 15 minutes, it's 10:45 here. So 15 minutes from now, we have one more. I have one more class to go. So right now it is 10:45 in California. Perfect. See you then. Gotcha. So you're 2 hours ahead. Right now, I have a lot of family in Wisconsin, so very familiar with Midwest time. All right, so it looks like most of you have logged out for this class. So since I have another one coming up here in a few minutes, I'm going to go ahead and close this one up so that I can start downloading the stream to post for all of you. But if you do think of any questions for me, feel free to email me. I check that all throughout the week. And right, thank you. Right, thank you for the offer. Yes, so we have a stream at 11. So the next class is a little bit different. You might stick around. There's a lot of overlap, but we definitely have some things that are a little different for that intro psych class at 11 o'clock. So maybe join me for that one if you can. And if you can't, you can always watch the recording for it later. There's definitely a lot of overlap.